Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Boss Talks. I'm Christine Drummond and I'm here with my legendary co-host Joel Lord. And today we are talking about raving fans, how to get them, how to keep them, and how to keep them raving to help you build your brand and your business. But first, you hear it on all our podcasts, all we ask from you is that you pay the fee. The fee is free, but the fee is actually to help us get this information out to the market, to help us improve the lives of other people. And the only way we can do that is if you guys help us share this information by sharing our podcast. So share it with your friends, put it on your own social media timelines and things like that, and really help us explode, or help you guys explode your businesses and also your personal life as well. So today, Joel, we're talking about customers. How do you create them? How do you retain them? How do you turn them into raving fans? And we're going to share the difference between just a normal customer and a raving fan customer, because it's great to have just normal customers. They're awesome for your bottom line. But having raving fan customers can actually revolutionize your business and take it to a whole new level. So I've got a couple of statistics here that I want to share with the listeners today, Joel. The first one is that customer service statistics show that new customers cost anywhere between 5 and 25%, 25 times more expensive than retaining existing customers. So that's by the Harvard Business Review. So what they're saying there is it's probably best and better for your bottom line if you can hold on to customers, if you can retain them. It also says that 70% of unhappy customers whose problems are resolved in a way that is beneficial to them and meets their expectations, then they're willing to shop with your business again. So if you can help resolve issues, so don't feel like, customers that have a bad experience are going to leave. You can absolutely turn that experience around for them by the way that you handle that situation. Also, can you still see me, Joel? I feel like I've frozen.
You're 100% fine.
100% fine. Awesome. It's frozen on my side, but that's great. All right. So just a couple extra stats before I hand it over to Joel. $1.6 trillion is lost, and this is in the US alone, but $1.6 trillion is lost by companies every year because of a result of poor customers moving to another company because of poor customer service. So that's a lot of business being picked up and taken and moved to one of your competitors. And we don't want that to happen for you guys. We want you guys to start, whether you're starting out in business or whether you've been in business for a long time, we want you to be able to really implement some of the things that we talk about today to really take your customer care to that next level. And the last one I wanted to finish with was that 55% of customers are willing to spend more money with a company that guarantees them a satisfying experience. So 55%, so more than half of your customers will spend more with you if they know the experience is going to be a pleasant one. So Joel, with that in mind, you've got a couple of businesses. We've been in business. You've had multiple businesses in the past. Like, tell us your experience with customer care, because I know that I heard you yesterday actually talk about some of the things you did for your customers when they came into your IGA. And I just thought, you know what, sometimes that level of service has gone, in this day and age. So I'd love you to be able to share some of your experiences with the listeners today.
Oh, well, yeah. Like, I love to reflect some of the stuff that you said. It's what I've found myself. And when I've gone and worked with Grant Cardone, he actually has a statistic saying that 20% of 100%, like customers that are 100% satisfied, so they give you a 10 out of 10, are looking to go somewhere else. Like 20%. So no matter what you do, you're going to have that happening, even if you're ticking all the boxes. So you want to make sure that you're looking after people as best that you can so that you can, get more customers and keep them longer. So 20% of your customers will be giving you 80% of your money, your revenue, your profit, so what does that mean? That means that you need to identify those customers and treat them like VIPs, because those 20% of customers are probably giving you the least amount of trouble. They're just coming in. They love what you do. They're loving what you do. They're loving what you're selling. They're loving the service that you're providing, and they just love to empty their pockets and support you and all those kind of things. So think about it. Like, one of the things that we learned to do in our supermarkets was that we got a customer care card. And what that meant wasn't just like we gave points away because, no matter who you are, everyone's walking around tuned into WeFM. What's in it for me? So, like, you give points away. We gave discounts away on some days. Like, we gave, we supported them, right? But what that allowed us to do, it let us collect data, and we knew their names. We knew their email addresses. We knew where they lived. So we could actually, and more importantly, we knew what they were spending. So we weren't just like taking a stab in the dark going, oh, well, we think this customer is our best customer. We knew who they were. When they would come to the counter, it was very easy for us to get the customer card out, swipe it at the beginning, and then we know their name. Their name would come up on the screen, so we could say, oh, hi, Christine, how are things going? We could see, like, if we wanted to, we could see what they were. We didn't usually let the kids at the counters or the girls at the counters see this, but we could tell who they were. So we could actually reach out to them and give them even extra service, like give them VIP service. Now, this may be making some of the listeners go, oh, but all our customers are important. Yeah, well, they are. Of course they are. Some are more important than others because, like, just fiscally, just by contributing to your bottom line. So you want to find those customers and then identify who they are, because guess what? Once you know who they are, you can now learn how to market to go find more of those kind of customers. So, like, there will be a common thread between all those customers. Maybe they all like Mercedes. Maybe they all like, I don't know, like a certain day spa. Maybe they all like a certain something. There'll be a common thread. It could be sporting. They might all attend a similar sporting club. They might like it could be anything. But when you collect enough data, you can find out and track who those people are, because guess what? In that group of people, there's going to be more people out in the community just like them. And what they don't know about you and you don't know about them, but it's your job as the business owner to go out and find out who they are, because, like, and I hope this makes sense, the people that are shopping with you that are doing well, there's other people out there just like them that are, coming in and shopping and doing a lot of sales with you. And you just need to go out and find them and get them to come and let them know who you are, what you can do, and then you treat them the same as well. And then they become part of your 20%. I hope that makes sense. Like, because realistically, there's just like, once you find the golden thread, and once you find that VIP customer, you can just go out and go bend over backwards, because wouldn't it be worth it to have a majority of your customers like your 20% or have more? So that's what we did. That's one of the things we did, because we identified that, and it really, really worked. And you bend over backwards for them. So we would do, when we were broke, like, we learnt this because we didn't have sales. We didn't have money. All we had was customer service. That's literally what I built my business on. And when we might not have had all the stock that the customers wanted, we had a car park full of potholes that was, we had trolleys that didn't push. Oh my goodness, it was a sight to behold. We had refrigerators that didn't work sometimes. Like, we were really shocking at the beginning. But what we would do is we would do free home delivery before delivery was a thing. We would do phone orders before that was a thing. We would pick up all the groceries, whether it was one bottle of milk, we would still take that out to the car. Whether it was like, if it was like 10 bags, we would fill the person's car, and then we would go around and we'd put it in the fridge for them. We would go to their house. We would do, and that's not scalable for a supermarket. But what was the difference? Like, what happened was we became lovable characters, and people forgave us for our shortcomings. So if you can become that, then people will let go of your flaws, to a certain extent. So become a likable character to your customers. Find out what's important to them, and then go give it to them, and treat them how you would want to be treated. And I guess to finally finish off what I was saying yesterday, make your customers feel like they're a celebrity. If you can make your customers feel like they're a celebrity, they will tell people. They will be your best marketing. You'll win in the long run. It might feel like you're losing at the front end, but long run you're going to win. So yeah, that's what we were doing.
I love that, mate. And it is so important, because especially with social media, the way it is these days, it can take one bad review that can absolutely ruin your business and the vision and what you're trying to create, the culture and everything. So we want to make sure that you guys are on top of this. And if problems or challenges are coming up in regards to customer care, or you've had a customer that's had a not so nice experience, then we want you to be able to be really prompt with your response and listen to them. Listen to them. What would they love the resolution to be? What would it look like to them? And that old saying of the customer is always right. I don't agree with that, but definitely you can come to some sort of resolution that both parties can agree on. So we want to make sure that you guys are on top of this. And so I'm going to share some things on how you can create a raving fan customer base. And the first thing I feel like you need to do is you need to start offering something different. What I'm seeing out there, especially in the social media world, is a lot of the same thing. No one's really standing out. So I want to make sure that you guys are really setting yourself apart. And I've got a friend of mine who's a personal trainer who does this really well. So in the beginning, when he first started as a PT, he reduced his prices like all the other PTs usually did. So he fell into the sea of personal trainers. Like, he just wasn't standing out. And then he thought, you know what? I'm going to double my prices every year, and I'm going to go for a different target market. So instead of $60, he put his price up straight to $120 an hour, which meant that now he was dealing with a different level of clientele. Okay. Now today, he charges $440 an hour. He offers a service where he will actually go and pick his clients up. A lot of his clients are fly in, fly out executives. So they fly to a lot of the capital cities. So he will go and pick them up when they come to Brisbane, and he will go and train them and then drop them to their hotel. So pick them up from the airport, train them, drop them to their hotel, or pick them up from their hotel, train them, drop them back. Okay. That's the level of customer service. So he's provided this base expectation. And for $440 an hour, do you think he gets many clients canceling? Absolutely not. Do you think $440, most executives, they're not really going to miss that if they did, but at least he's getting rewarded for his time and for his effort and for the service that he's providing. Now, he does above and beyond that, but that's his base level expectation of service that he provides. And then he wows them by offering other things as well. So, what could you do? And it doesn't have to be something that extreme. Maybe it's just that you support a beautiful cause or an amazing charity, and people are raving about you because of your mission and the value and how you turn up to contribute to this cause. So maybe that's how you do it. But you want to make sure that you offer something different that sets you apart. Now, I've ordered a few things online, especially during COVID, and I love the little handwritten notes at the top of the box, and it's signed off by the person, the company owner or whatever, and they've used my name and, thanked me or congratulated me for using their product. I love that stuff. It might be a little simple handwritten card or note. You might add in a little sticker or a magnet so that they can stick it on their cars, their fridges. So now it's brand awareness. The second thing is getting to know your customers on a deeper level, really getting to know them. When's their birthday? Do they have children? Do they have pets? Where do they live? Getting to know them. What do they do for work? What lights them up? What are their hobbies? What do they do on weekends? And you can only do this by asking questions, getting to know them at a deeper level so that you're on that first name basis. So if they come into your restaurant, you know exactly what they love to order. You know what their favorite coffee is. You know what their favorite dessert is. If they're coming in and, you know, you're training them they're a client of yours, and you know that their kid's birthday's coming up, you know, they might love that you remembered that their daughter's about to turn 1. What are you doing for your daughter's birthday party? You know, so these little things matter. People are wowed by how much you remember about them, okay? The third thing is providing outstanding customer service. So listening, making sure you're responding really quickly, being friendly, being reliable, and adding that wow factor, as I spoke about before. Now, I've walked into restaurants before, and it's that awkward silence where the staff are looking at you, they don't say anything, they look like they're busy or overwhelmed or stressed. You're like, do I go and sit down? Do I stand? You know, and it's just not a pleasant experience. Whereas when you've got someone that meets you at the door, is friendly, is funny, you know, and gets to know you a little bit, asks you questions about your day, then takes you to your seat, you know, that's providing outstanding customer service. So think about that. When customers or even potential customers have that first point of contact with your business, who is the face that they're meeting? Who is the person is it you? Maybe it's you. Maybe you're doing everything in your business. So how are you showing up? What's your energy like? What's your posture like? What's your eye contact like? Are you friendly? You know, are you asking questions? Are you present? Not worrying about the 50 things that you got to do when this customer leaves your store or leaves your presence, okay? So making sure you're doing that. And then engaging online would be number 4. So, you know, having a support group. Also, if they're tweeting about you, if they're sending messages to your Facebook group or something, make sure you're responding promptly and you're engaging with them and you're having fun online with your customers as well. Number 5 would be, as Joel said, creating that VIP level of service, VIP access. So maybe you give your really loyal customers, long-term customers, maybe you give them access to discounts first. Maybe you give them access to special offers, coupons, vouchers. You know, maybe you do them a referral deal where if they refer people, they get a financial kickback or something. There's so many ways to create a VIP experience. And the 6th thing would be rewards and recognition. So if your customer has been with you for 12 months, that's a 1-year anniversary you should be celebrating. If they've been with you for 5 years, 10 years, you need to recognize that customer. And I would be shouting that all over social media. That's social proof that your product, your service is needed and wanted, and that you've got these raving fans that have been with you long term. So really rewarding and recognizing that. I know in one of my businesses, on the 12th anniversary, the 12-month anniversary, I always send out an ecological gift, something that's good for the planet, and something that, you know, puts a smile or is a positive influence for my customer. So little things like that. And the last one is staying true to your word. You know, make sure you are staying true to what you say you will do, and don't overpromise. You know, it's that thing of, you know, just meet the expectations and then exceed them, okay? But always stay true to your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And don't cancel on your customers. Don't cancel on your clients. Really uphold the level of service and the level that you play at. Like, maintain really high standards for yourself in this area. So, Joel, they're probably my 7 points of really how to create raving fans. And then, you know, I'll hand it over to you and then I'll talk more about how to keep them raving.
Yeah, well, that was so great. Like, I love that your friend with the personal training business has done that. It's one of the things that when I work with clients, I go in, often they're nearly being paid by the hour, and it's usually low, and it's usually like you go get a job and get better money. And I'm thinking, why are you running a business like this? And they're like, well, that's because that's what I think I can get. I'm like, well, ask for what you want, not what you think you can get. So if you're in business right now and that's you, stop asking for what you think you can get, ask for what you want. And you're probably thinking, well, that's easy for you just to say on a podcast, Joel. But my industry, that's just what people get. And I'm like, well, like, then you need to show your clients extra value. Like, what do you, like what Christine said, like that guy couldn't just go, well, I'm going to charge you $440 an hour to do what everyone else is doing, because he wouldn't be in business. But going over and above and beyond and picking them up from their houses or from the hotel and then training them, you know, like all the different things that this guy is doing is building value in it. And you can do the same. So the next thing is, if you want to have amazing, happy, raving fan customers, the first one that needs to be a raving fan is your employees. So like, first of all, it needs to be you. You need to be a raving fan of your own product. You need to be a raving fan of what you're doing. You need to be a raving fan, but keep it to yourself, because no one cares about you and your business. But what you want to do is you want to like because of what's in it for me, FM, we FM. But here's the thing. The first thing you want to do is you want to create a culture of raving fans that are part of your team, whether you outsource, whether you have employees. They need to be your first amazing group of raving fans, because if they're raving fans and you take care of them in a way that they become raving fans, they will take care of your customers. So my happy staff created happy clients. If my staff are unhappy, then they created unhappy customers. So, you know, whatever's inside you spreads. Is that what you spread? So, yeah, you need to get on top of that. So one of the things that I did is I took lots of notes. So that's how I knew about my clients. Like when I was in car sales, I took amazing notes. So when I rang up months later to follow up, because that's following up is caring, I didn't get on and say, hey, do you still want to buy a car? I would say, hey, how did your wife go with her operation? Or how did your kids go getting the new puppy? Has the puppy chewed up the whole house yet? I could start with that conversation, and then, you know, people are going, who knows that stuff? Well, I didn't even know. I just wrote it down when I was asking questions before. And, you know, did I end up selling a lot of cars because I was so great at sales? Absolutely not. Definitely not. But I was really great at follow-up, and I really was great at caring about what was important to the people and that I was working with, and they became raving fans of mine. And I got a high instance of people wanting to see the manager to tell them that the only reason why they're buying a car here was because of me. So I was creating raving fans. Now, if I was still in car sales and I kept following them up over time, even though they just bought a car from me, I would be keeping contact with them, because guess what? Every 5 years, someone buys a new car, right? Like most of the time, they're in the market for a new car. Or, you know, I'm at the front of mind when anyone goes, oh, where'd you get that car? Oh, go see Joel, you know, like, so you have that too. So really just follow through with that as well. Absolutely the VIP. Think about the airlines, you know, like you if you're in business class, you get a little tag and you walk past all the lines. You don't like, is it that much better especially on domestic? No. Like going overseas, like once you do it, you can't go back. It's a real shame when you got to go back. But that's it. Like, and think hotels. Like I've been to a hotel with a friend of mine, and we walked in this time. It was such a crack up because like I was not well dressed that day. I looked like just a regular person in casual clothes, and we rocked up, and he hands over, like we walked to the normal desk, and they were kind of like not giving great customer service, actually, to be honest, until he handed over the room we were staying in, the booking we had. We didn't check in downstairs. They went, oh, you don't check in down here. They took us up to the third floor into this like room that I didn't know existed. Like regular people didn't know that existed, but because this guy had traveled so much and he'd spent so much money, he'd been flagged as VIP, and we got to go to the special places. So that made me feel amazing. And what that did is that made me hungry to work out how the hell I could do that when I'm not traveling with this guy, because I was getting shunned straight back down to, yeah, regular. Actually, the day that happened, Christine, was the first time I ever flew business class, and it ruined me. It ruined me. So I like to promise, like you said, and definitely over deliver. So currently, at the time of recording, I'm putting on a program, and I'm literally, I've promised one thing, and I'm delivering on that. But then all this other extra stuff is happening, you know, like I'm sending out books to people. I'm sending out, giving prizes away for people that take the action. I'm showing them how I'm doing the program live as I'm doing it, so they can go do it too. So they'd have to go spend thousands to learn how to do that in another course. Well, I'm showing that to them as well. I'm doing like as much as I can literally fit into the week, I would do. So I'm being creative and thinking, how the hell can I bring more than what they've expected from anyone else, so they, you know, get the results is the first thing. But then I have a really successful program that people want to share, and it just goes on from there. So that's what I do, Christine.
I love that, mate. And I love that you shared that hotel experience. It's so cool. I've got a hotel experience as well. I took my daughter away for a mummy-daughter girls' weekend away to Melbourne, and we stayed at a hotel there. And when we rocked up, our room wasn't quite ready. So they said, and all guests got a glass of champagne and a macaroon when they arrived. So I got the champagne and my daughter got the macaroon. And then they said, oh, it's taken a little bit longer than expected to get your room ready. Why don't you head across to the bar, and you can have another drink, and your daughter can have a mocktail, or she can have a juice, or whatever you like. So then we went over to the bar where they're playing beautiful music, and it was just a beautiful ambience. And yeah, and we waited there until our room was ready, and they took our bags and everything up for us. And it was just totally unexpected. And we've tried many times to get back into that hotel when we've been to Melbourne, and it's booked out all the time. And I can understand why. They just made us feel so welcomed, and they were just going above and beyond for us. And we felt really, really appreciated and welcomed in the hotel. So of course you want to go back. So the difference, I guess, and I've told a lot of people about that hotel as well and our experience, and that's what Raving fans do. They go and tell family and friends, and then they help you with the marketing. Okay, so, you know, and they also give you amazing feedback. So I don't give a lot of feedback online. I'm not one of the people that loves to review everything, but of course I went immediately in when I left that hotel and I gave them raving reviews. You know, and I don't know about you guys, but when I shop, when I go and stay somewhere, I always check out the reviews. If I'm making a decision on a product or a service, I'll go and read the reviews, because I want to know what other people's experience was. Like I was trying to buy some exercise pants the other day, and there was a few bad reviews about the sizing and that it didn't really promise on what the company was saying. So I'm like, I'm not buying those. I'm not taking the risk. You know what I mean? So, you know, getting feedback and getting these Raving fans to do your marketing for you is going to help you blow up your brand. And then feeling connected. I felt so connected with this hotel that day. That's what your customers want to feel. They want to feel connected. They want to feel like they're part of your family. Now, I've seen an incredible business coach out there. I've been to a few of his seminars, and he gives out wristbands. He gives out like the rubber, I can't remember what they're called, but they're like the rubber things with the engravings on them. And depending on which color wristband you have, depends on which type of family member you are in his family. He treats all his clients as a family. And he knows that if you've got, I don't know what the colors are, but let's say you've got a white one, you've been to all his stuff. You've been to his house, you've been to all his seminars, you know, you're a VIP. If you've just got like let's say a blue one, then you're brand new. This is your first seminar. This is your first time of being to any of his things. So when he goes around and he meets you and talks to you, he's looking at your wrist, and he can tell pretty much how much money you're spending with him and how long you've been around and what you've been to, which I think is a really cool thing. And I know in another podcast we've spoken about the napkin in the restaurant, you know, where restaurants leave a different colored napkin on the lap of the people who are brand new to the restaurant, so that they can receive that VIP service, so that they can come back. So little things like that. But how do you keep raving fans? This was an awesome question I heard someone ask yesterday. How do you keep raving fans raving? And the way that I believe this happens is that you add a ton of value. So after that customer has had their experience, and maybe it's not time for them to come back and buy, maybe you don't have another product yet or another service available just yet, then you add tons of value. You want to be subtly at the top of that person's mind, should they be ready to buy? Because let's face it, like a car, for instance, it's not something we're going out every year to buy, okay? But if you are subtly at the top of that person's mind when their kid turns 16, 17, 18, or when their wife now needs to go get a car, and they've loved on you this whole time, even though it's been 10 years since you've needed a new car, guess where you're going to go? You're going to go back to that car dealership who poured in the time and effort and added that extra value, that extra level of service. So we want you to do this. And there's an example out there. We spoke about on another podcast as well about the bike, where, you know, a guy came in to get a bike for his son, and the first bike shop he went to, the guy just saw dollar figures. He just wanted this guy to buy the dearest bike, you know, and tried to entice him to buy the dearest bike for his son who had just learned to ride. But when he went into the second shop, the guy didn't just go in for the dollars. He said, well, your son's just learning to ride. He's probably going to have a few stacks. Don't go for the top range. Let's get something a little bit cheaper until he earns his stripes. And then you can always come back and get a better bike when he's improved his skills. Now that dad bought that bike, bought himself a bike, came back in, bought bikes for the rest of the family from that guy. Can you see the difference, guys? So it's just all these little things that make the difference. What does the actual customer want? Now, no one wants to buy their kids a brand new, bike, or it doesn't matter what it is, for it to get ruined. So think about that in regards to your business and how you can offer that next level of service. The second thing is remembering things. Now, I've always told myself I've got a terrible memory, so of course I've got a terrible memory. But since I started to change that and tell myself that I've got a great memory, I remember the most amazing things about people. Now I'm remembering the most amazing things about people, and I'm starting to bring it up in conversation, and they're wowed by that. Or if I'm doing some messaging in Messenger chat, I'll make sure I go back up and I will rejig my memory, go, what was it that was going on in that person's life? And I'll give an example. Yesterday, I reached out to a lady just to check in to see how her husband was going post-surgery. And she was blown away that I'd even remembered that he'd had surgery. Now, this lady isn't even a customer of mine. She's just a Facebook friend, and I love her energy and I love what she stands for. And I just really just wanted to check in and see how the husband was going. Now, this is another tip. Just because someone's not buying from you doesn't mean they're not a customer yet. Like, you need to treat people as if they already are, okay? And love on them where they're at. And you want to be, as I said, subtly in front of that person's mind, and be a connector as well. If you know what your customer does for work, and then you've got another customer that's looking for someone that needs that service, connect those two customers. Be the connector. Those people are going to be so thrilled that you are providing extra business and referrals to them. So this is the advantage of remembering things. And the next one is, getting back to basics. Like, no one's receiving handwritten letters, notes, cards in the mail anymore. We're relying on social media for so much. So go back to, sending gratitude notes, sending thank you notes, sending notes of appreciation to people. And the last one is, as I said, and Joel backed me up on this as well, is delivering more than what you promised, delivering more than what they expected from you. They knew that they were going to get this, this, and this, but wow, you threw this in as well. Or wow, you received this. Or maybe you just sent out a little gift in the post that surprised them. So that's how you keep a raving fan raving, but also get really ballsy with it. Like, ask them, have competitions, have challenges. I know that in one of my groups, I have competitions about who can add the most people in, and then I reward the people that are referring people into the group. So little competitions like that, little loyalty competitions are amazing. People love that. People love stuff for free. So don't be afraid to, go against the grain, do something different, stand out from what everyone else in your industry or your profession is doing. So I don't know. I'll go back to you, Joel.
It's funny. I'm sitting here and I'm hearing like all these comments we're both making, and I think out of every podcast we've ever done, we're sort of like stealing each other's thunder so much because we're both saying the same things, and what that tells me is it's not that hard. It's not that complicated. You just got to treat people well, and if you treat people well, and you know, and I'm saying respect yourself in this. You're not a charity. But if you don't need to be just throwing money at people, things that cost a ton of money at people. But if you can provide so much value and make people feel like they're valued, because when we've done studies on this, and there's actually bigger company data on this, that 72% of people that leave your business or any business, it's because they think the people in the business don't care about them. It's because your customers feel like you don't care. Now, when I leave things, I'm like, I actually check in. I'm thinking, wow, it's because they don't give a crap if I'm here or not. You know what I mean? So like, think about that yourself. So it's pretty simple to work this out. You got to look through the duplicate lens, look through the eyes of your customer, because it's so easy to get so wound up and fall in love with your business when you should be falling in love with your customer, and see it through their eyes. Okay, well, is this how I'd like to be treated? How would I like to be treated? Like, what would I like? And then going a step further, like in the program I'm currently doing, I literally send out surveys. And then after I deliver a lesson, I am surveying them. You know, when Christine and I have put on events, we've surveyed them before they come to find out what it is that they need from us, and then we deliver it. And then at most of them, we offer a complimentary coaching call afterwards, like in many of our programs. And the first thing Christine does is jumps on and says, tell us the good, the bad, the ugly. What did you love? What did you not like? Give us the feedback. Like it's crazy. Like, what we do very quickly is we find out what they want, and they feel special, they feel valued, they feel heard. It's just amazing. So it's literally not that hard. Like Andy Frisilla, his teams, when you buy something from him, he is sending handwritten notes out. Like, is it Andy? No. Is it his team? Yes. But you know what? I reckon Andy does write notes. I reckon when it's his turn to pull his socks up and do it, he does it, because he does pride himself on being willing to do any job that he's asking his team to do. So I bet he does. But when I got that, I was just like, wow, there's little guys that are just not doing this. And he's got a $300 million a year company. He's got multiple things that he's doing. He's busy, but his team takes the time to write a handwritten note, and not like, to Joel from Andy Frisilla. It's like literally like a couple of paragraphs. Like that takes time, and that's not scalable, but he does it anyway. It doesn't make sense, but here's the funny part, Christine. How many times have we talked about this on our podcast? So whatever our listener audience is, we've said it multiple times. So has that marketing worked? It has, hasn't it? You know, it's crazy. So yeah, I totally agree with everything you're saying. I don't know what else I can say about this, like, other than just treat your customers well, and they'll do the rest. You know, treat people well, and don't be lazy. I think that's if I'm gonna like pick on what stops people from doing it, it's that you're too lazy to, or you're too in love with yourself to worry about your clients. And yeah, you don't have to brag about everything that you do either. I think that's a big mistake that people make. So when you start bragging that, I do all this stuff for my customer, so yeah, I can give more away from what I do. Like, I literally did not tell anyone that I'm sending a book out to them when they join my coaching. I send it out, and the next thing, where do you think they go? Social media, straight away. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I got this. I didn't know it was coming, because people like presents. So you send it in the mail, and you have a handwritten letter or a nice pen or whatever. And people go, oh, not like a big pen, like a proper pen. Give them something that they're going to keep, because guess what? That book is going to become shelf development, most likely. but their shelves are usually in eyesight. So whenever they're going to their cupboard, they're going to see my stuff. You know what I mean? But they're happy to get it. And then my 15-minute calls might end up being an hour. I don't know. Like I do my best to over deliver. I give, because I don't know, Christine, it's always just paid me well, especially when I didn't have the money and I didn't have any other reason for customers to be loyal to me other than that I was loyal to them, because they certainly weren't coming in because I had an awesome store or because I was the best coach on the planet or anything like that. But I just made sure I did the best I could. And I don't know, they just remember how you make them feel. So make them feel special. What do you reckon?
I love that, mate. And I want to give someone a plug because I went to a retreat and with a good friend of mine. He was holding this retreat, and it's a guy called Simon Mitchell. And what he did was, when we stayed in this amazing mansion, that's where the retreat was, at this mansion. And then on each of our beds, when we got to our room, was a beautiful handwritten note. And then he had a gorgeous, like a folder for us to take notes and a pen. But then on top, he had, I think we were all women, there might have been a couple of men, but he had one of the Mr. Men, the Mr. Women books. And I think mine was something like Little Miss Bossy, or, you know, he took each of the characters and gave us a different book based on our personalities. And it was just such a beautiful touch. And, you know, I was a client of his for a long time. And I remember him gifting me one of the greatest books, which was Think and Grow Rich. And he just had the most amazing handwritten note about our friendship and everything in the folder of that book. Now, that book means so much to me. I would never lend that book out to someone because he's gone to the effort. He picked a book that he knew that I would read, that would benefit me in life. And that's customer service, guys. That's going above and beyond, you know, and I love that kind of stuff. Another example, which I just did recently, and it wasn't even to my customers, it was to a lot of the mums that follow me on social media. A lot of them, I just put a post up one day and said, you know, I want to send you a little gift. It's going to come at an unexpected time. This was going back maybe 6 months ago, and I finally got around to doing it last month. But what I did was I sent a little sparkler, so a little, you know, like the little stick sparklers, and I just had a little card stuck to it on the front that said, "Don't let anyone ever dull your sparkle." And then it had a handwritten note with it, and it was individual to that person. So I don't know how many, my hand was so sore over a couple of days, but like little things like that. And then getting the messages of gratitude and the tears and everything rolling in, because these women received this tiny little gift unexpected in the post. They'd all forgotten that I'd even said that I was going to send them something. So just little things like that. You may not know what you want to do or what you want to send. It doesn't have to be expensive. That just went into a normal envelope, and it cost me the cost of a stamp. You know what I mean? So don't think like that you have to do these big, extravagant things that are going to be really, really costly. And the last thing I want to finish on, and you touched on this before, Joel, is the customers are not just the people that are coming in and buying your product or service. It's your team. It's the team around you. It's your the people that are working for you. You know, they're your customers as well. So how are you serving them? How are you enriching their life? How are you making their life better? You know, and I feel like we could all do a lot better in this area. Think about the first time that you worked for somebody. How were you treated? A lot of us have had a lot of shitty bosses over the years. You know, we've got to take those lessons and go, you know what? I don't want to be seen like that. I don't want to have that type of behavior or have those habits. I'm going to be this type of manager. I'm going to be this type of leader. You know, this is how I'm going to treat people that work for me, and really hold yourself to that higher standard. And if you do that, your staff will stick around. They will feel loved. They will feel appreciated, especially if you can tap into their 6 human needs, like the 2 that are, you know, that are most relevant to them. They will stick around and they will be loyal. And that's what you want. You want raving fan customers and a loyal team base as well. So, Joel, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I do actually. It's funny. You wrote a letter to me, and it's like it was pages long, and every single word was in a different color. Like, I was just like, I read it and like the words meant so much because I wasn't feeling awesome when I got it. I was thinking, like, I was like, you know, we all, as time goes on, things get on top of us. I read that and it gave me such a pickup. And then I was like, who the hell sits there and writes each different thing with a different color? I bet this was a great idea until about sentence 4. And then it was like the worst idea. And she wanted to like come and staple it to my forehead. But like the thing that like I was so grateful for it, and I was just like, who the hell does this? Like, who am I actually friends with here? Like, it just really gave me a kick in the backside to realize like what a amazing friend you are, because, you know, I don't know, I'm not a social butterfly. So my friends are my friends, and the rest just like they just are who they are. You know, they're acquaintances. But then that really just made me appreciate how lucky I am, and like helped me suck it up a bit. You know what I mean? So yeah, like who does that? Not me.
It didn't cost anything. It cost the amount of a stamp.
That had more value that I couldn't have put a price on. If you'd have sent me a diamond ring or a gold ring, or I don't know, that wouldn't have meant as much as that letter. So like that's where I'll leave it with, because look at the value you can get just by getting off your ass and writing a letter. Like, how hard who could you do that for right now, audience? Like, seriously. So that's it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, let's stop it on that note and leave with that thought, because that's your action for this week is go out there and write a letter of gratitude or thanks or appreciation to someone that maybe you haven't done that to in a long time. It could be a family member, it could be a customer, it could be a team member. Like, go and let people know that you absolutely appreciate them and value them. So that's it from us. That's another week of Boss Talks. We cannot wait to have you guys listen in next week. We've got another guest speaker coming. Hopefully, is he locked in, Joel? Maybe.
He will be.
Someone will be anyway. We'll have a guest speaker with us next week. We can't wait for you guys to get more value from this. Go and have the most outstanding weekend.
Damn.